Film fans YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Josh, Movie Apprentice, and today I am looking at Twisters, directed by Lee Isaac Chung and starring Daisy Edgar Jones, Anthony Ramos, and Glen Powell. This follows a couple of groups of storm chasers, one who are trying to get 3D scans of a tornado, whilst others are just trying to up their subscriber count during one of the worst tornado outbreaks in history. Before I get into my review, if you like what's on the channel, click the like button and subscribe for more reviews that's coming all the time. And without further ado, I just want to apologize for the delay in my reviews lately. It's been a bit of illness as well as heat stroke and just side projects as well. But we are back, and without further ado, let's jump into the review. So Twisters, this was one that honestly very much surprised me. I went into this expecting a dumb disaster action film. You go in for the crazy tornado sequences, which are outstanding, by the way, but you stay for the humanitarian element that the film brings in. This very much opens our eyes, especially those of us that will never in our lifetime actually see a tornado. In the UK, we basically never get tornadoes, and in most parts of America, it's very rare. It's just certain areas that always seem to get these regular outbreaks of tornadoes. So seeing not only just the absolute might of nature within the tornadoes themselves, but seeing the devastation and the effect it has on the individuals after the fact, it's really well done. Now, I will admit I have not actually seen the original Twister from 1996, though I have seen a few clips, so I know that that is a thing that is very much tied into in that previous film, and it really focuses heavily on the traumatic aspect that tornadoes will give to those that manage to survive it. The cast are charming enough. Daisy Edgar Jones and Glen Powell have decent chemistry between them. Daisy Edgar Jones is very engaging as someone that is dealing with trauma from a previous incident with a tornado, which is depicted in a fantastic opening sequence. The opening sequence doesn't rush in the things. It very much gives you enough time to really get to know and like these pre-credit characters before the inevitable disaster and inciting conflict hits. That is really well executed. And Glen Powell and his crew in this that play these YouTubers that chase storms and shoot fireworks up them for the clicks and the likes and the live streams. That is a very entertaining element of the film. It did feel very natural and very realistic. But looping back into the movie, I will say it's not flawless, whilst I was taken aback by how well it depicted the humanitarian side of things and really delivered some strong emotional moments. It did feel like there were a few elements in the film that felt very lackluster, and a couple of things felt a little bit rushed as well. For starters, there is a sort of love triangle that takes place in this movie, and I, for one, never bought that. I did not even think that one character actually had an interest in this other character until one particular dialogue exchange towards the final third. There is also an element of forced conflicts. There is a particular point of view that is shown for the first half of the movie that is flipped for the last half of the movie, and it doesn't feel very natural or very well fleshed out. It felt like they had to come up with a reason to have Daisy Edgar Jones's character lean more in with the YouTubers than the scientific people that they originally start with. And it felt like a very contrived, forced way to go about it. And the conflicts that it forces are very frustrating. There was a particular argument between two characters that was delivered very woodenly. And quite frankly, you saw where it was going, and it just felt very cold. And quite frankly, I did not feel like the character that is made to be the bad guy in that situation is necessarily the bad guy, considering what was said by the other person before. That is a problem I have with the script. At times, it does feel very stick thin and underdeveloped. Characters that act like arseholes for the earlier part of the film suddenly switch to having more personality and to have more of a heart than the a-holery that they have been depicting the entire time up until the script demands that they all need to start acting like nice people in order to make us root for the switching sides that does occur in this movie. Now, the sequences of the tornadoes are, as I've said, really entertaining. They are horrifying, they are tense. The finale itself is a very gripping sequence. The absolute terror of the tornado. The fact that, for the most part, you don't really get to see the tornado just because the amount of stuff that is flying around outside of them, as well as the rain as well. It's very rare you actually get to see the cyclone. And if you do see the cyclone and level 5 tornado, you are basically kaput. So you really don't want to be seeing that. That is the vibe I was given from these tornado sequences. The destruction, the aftermaths are very well done, and the way people have the struggle to survive in these scenarios and the out the box thinking some people take to survive this. It's very interesting, but unfortunately, there are some other characters that are just there as caricatures. I will say that the film did show at least a little bit of restraint when it came to some characters. There are a couple of characters that start out good, turn out to possibly be bad, and any film from back in the day, from like the 90s or the early 2000s, that character would have been killed off unceremoniously and it would have felt a little bit mean spirited. But in this, they hint at doing that, but they never follow through with it, and that I quite liked. Though it does bother me that there's one character that is kind of just abandoned and we never see their fate or what actually happens to that particular individual. So that is something that I feel like we should have at least got a little bit of clarification on. But other than that, I would say that Twisters is a film that was a mixed bag for me, but I very much lean more into the liking it side of things than I did to not liking it. Before I get into my grade, if you like seeing our channel, click the like button and subscribe for more video reviews that's coming out of time. But without further ado, let's jump into the grade. So Twisters, you go in for the carnage of the tornadoes and you stay for the humanitarian element of tornadoes and the cruel reality check it gives us that we'll never likely ever see a tornado in person, and really shows that they are not these absolute marvels, but they are actually very destructive and many people lose their livelihoods because of said tornadoes. However, a paper thin love story, some forced conflicts towards the final third, and character shifts as well really drag it down for me a little bit, as well as just some characters just absolutely being caricatures purely there for us to have faces that get sucked into the tornado. But anyone we genuinely really seem to care about manages to avoid getting sucked up into a vortex. So there's very little sense of dread or depth within the film itself. If one key character that we'd grown to really like was unfortunate enough to just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, that could have made this film a lot more entertaining. I feel like the whole tornado sequence in the opening section was more effective than the rest of the film, purely because of how much we cared about the individuals involved. With all that being said, though, I'm gonna have to say that for me, Twisters is a tea that needs more sugar. So, Twisters, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Again, you like what's on the channel, click the like button and subscribe for more video reviews that's coming all the time. Coming up on the channel, obviously, we have Deadpool and Wolverine coming out, which I'm going to be reviewing as soon as possible. I will likely do a very late review of Longlegs, assuming that I manage to find the time for it in the next couple of days. And on the video essay side of things, I might be a bit late getting this month's one out, again, because of scheduling, but I do aim to get it out as soon as possible. So for those of you staying around for video essays, stay tuned. It will be coming sooner than you think. But until next time, everybody, I am Josh, I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you all in the next video.